Hey guys, Aaliyah here. This was supposed to be a YouTube live, but YouTube is not letting me go live. So I'm just going to record it and then I'm going to be uploading it to YouTube, which is how you will be watching it right now. So pardon my voice. I have lost my voice in the last couple of days. I'm going to try to get through this. I am sipping lots of hot water. So today I'm walking you through how I'm dealing with my Thanksgiving leftovers in my refrigerator. We hosted this year and holy crap, the amount of leftovers we had was just overwhelming and insane. And we've worked our way through some of them, but I know we've kind of gotten to that point where everybody's sort of sick of the traditional Turkish turkey plate. So it's time to kind of repurpose and do some things. So I'm going to show you 3 things that I'm doing. Wow, this light's really awful. It gets dark so early. So I'm going to show you 3 things that I'm doing today that's going to help put food in my freezer for later, use up the leftovers, repurpose them in a different way, and it's all going to be delicious. It already smells like Thanksgiving again in here because I pulled out a bunch of stuff from the fridge. Let me take a sip of hot water. Okay, so I'm going to start with stock. One of the best things about Thanksgiving dinner is that we end up with a turkey that makes amazing stock. And a lot of it too, because turkey carcasses are really large. So the best way to make turkey stock, or any kind of stock, poultry stock, we'll say really, is to use a carcass that has meat and bone. You don't want to use all bone because you won't get good flavor, and you don't want to use all meat because you won't get good body in the broth, like that kind of thick velvety texture of broth. So you kind of want to use both, and that's why turkey carcasses or parts of carcasses are really ideal, because they have both the bone and they have some good meat on there, and often they're seasoned. Hopefully your turkey was seasoned, and so your broth ends up tasting really quite delicious. There's salt in it, sometimes there'll be herbs. So I'm just going to start. I got out my big stock pot for this, or one of my bigger stock pots, because I have 2 Ziploc bags that have been in the freezer. Luckily, somebody the night of Thanksgiving had the wherewithal, I think my partner, to clean up, and when he was cleaning up, put this stuff in a Ziploc bag and refrigerate it, and then I froze it the next day after it completely cooled off. So I'm just going in and putting my turkey parts in. That's like I don't know what part that is, but lots of bones, but there's definitely still some meat on there. And like I said, that's going to give the flavor. And the awesome part about turkey stock made with a roast turkey is that the roasting's already been done for you. So when you make stocks with roast meat, it's really just a layer, a depth of flavor there that's really great. So that extra step is already taken for you. You don't have to roast the parts already. It's already done. So this fills up my pot about halfway. And I'm going to show you this. I use filtered water actually for my stock because I think it tastes better. That's just my preference. You don't have to. So I have this gigantic, we drink these gigantic bottles of filtered water. So I'm going to fill it up so it barely covers the parts. And maybe not even, because you want things submerged, but you don't want so much water in here that it's really a diluted flavor. That being said, this will reduce a bit. So you just want to get all the pieces in there. Yeah, they're mostly covered. And as, there we go. And as it starts to cook, the pieces will get smaller and kind of settle into the pot. So it will become covered by the water. And that's all I'm putting in there for now. If I had grabbed out some bay leaves, I think I have some bay leaves in the cupboard. We grow bay leaves, and I think I have some here dried. I'll grab some of those in a minute. But other than that, this is just the turkey, and I'm going to stick it on the stove on kind of a higher heat until it gets going, and then I will turn it down to a medium. I don't add any vegetables yet. Reason being, to extract the flavor and the texture from the bones and the meat, it takes a little bit longer than it does for the veggies to land their flavor. And the veggies tend to get mushy pretty quickly. Within 45 minutes, those veggies are turned to mush. So I add them later on in the process. I'm going to cook this stock probably for about 2 hours, and then I'll add the veggies in the last 45 minutes or so. So my stock doesn't get super cloudy. You want kind of a clearer stock. At least I do. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on the stove. All right, so that is the stock going. These are the stock veggies that I'm going to throw in a bit later. But so that's the stock, and that is going to be a base for any sort of thing. I already actually made a soup this week with the wings. I used only the wings. I used a smaller pot. I boiled those turkey wings for about maybe an hour, not even really all that long. And then I strained it and I added some onion, carrot, celery. We had some zucchini on hand and a ton of turkey meat. And I threw all that in there. And I actually used some roasted tomatoes as well that I had on hand. What else did I put in there? I probably threw in some herbs. I still have some basil here on my counter. I threw in some herbs and some different stuff, and that was my turkey soup. This turkey broth I'm going to I'm going to freeze it for to have in the freezer during the winter months because I love having warm soups on hand, and it's really great to grab out of the freezer some fresh stock. So that's what that is. Next, I'm going to move on to what the heck I'm doing with my stuffing. I don't know if you guys if you love stuffing, hate stuffing, there's so many camps on that, right? But I made this year a stuffing that I never made before because this is the first year I was hosting. And I decided to break from the tradition of my family's stuffing, which is very bread-based with a little bit of meat and veggies in it. And I decided to do more of a meat-based stuffing. And I ended up using a sage sausage, which was delicious. It's a pork-based sausage. And added some bread cubes too, some toasted bread cubes, and some herbs, and like onion, carrot, celery. Maybe no carrot. I think it was just celery and onion in there, and more fresh sage too. And it was delicious, but we had a ton of it left over. I cooked like there was no tomorrow. It felt like there was never enough, but there was plenty, believe me. We had 14 people at our gathering, and there was plenty of food to go around. That's what happens when a chef makes it, and then I invited other people who are chefs too, so they just brought a ton of food as well, and it was a great gathering. Anyways, back to the stuffing. What I'm going to do to repurpose it, it can be a little bit difficult to repurpose. It's mushy. You're kind of sick of the flavor. Like, what do we do with this stuff? Here's mine in the lovely Ziploc bag that it's been in since Thanksgiving night. It's a few days later now, so it's really time to get doing something with it here. So what I'm going to do is stuff some peppers. So this did require a trip to the grocery store, but I picked out some really nice fresh bell peppers, some red ones. I got a yellow one too because they looked better than the red ones, and that's a really similar flavor. And when I was picking out these bell peppers, I wanted to be sure that I was picking for size. I wanted to make sure they had a sizable enough space so I could actually stuff them with something, and kind of their shape too. I was kind of testing them in the store. Okay, this would, if I cut it in half lengthwise like this, they're gonna lie flat. So we'll see how well I did. It seems like they'll probably lie flat when I cut them in half. Let's see. Maybe like that. Ooh, like that, but that doesn't look, oh, this will be good. So I just cut them down the middle. The only step you really need to take to stuff these is you need to pre-cook the peppers. That's really the only thing. And what I'm actually going to do right now, I'm going to pre-cook these. I'm going to stuff them, and then I'm going to freeze them. Because this is what's so cool. The stuffing's already cooked. That's cooked pork sausage in there. So it doesn't need to be cooked at all. So I've just made these little boats to stuff. And I'm going to pre-cook them for about 20 minutes at 400 degrees. Let's see. Like that. Yep. All right. This is great. So that's how this one turned out. Can you see my thing? Oh, something's boiling. No? Things are making noises. And I'm just pulling out the stems here and the white bits inside. They can be a little bitter. Banging out those seeds. Just so I have a little boat. I'm not sure how well I did with that one. We'll see in a minute. And I'm going to oil them too. I'm trying to go right down the middle so that I have even sides. Pulling out those veins for the most part. I've just preheated. I do this in my toaster oven. I have a nice handy little toaster oven, which is great for little jobs like this. So then I have them here. This one looks like it's not going to stay upright. Might have to give it a talking to there. I'm going to oil these really quick with a little bit of olive oil. Not a lot. Ooh. And then as soon as my toaster oven tells me it's at 400 degrees, we will all hear a beep. I'm like out of oil. Thanksgiving, man. That was an ordeal. It was so fun though. It was great having people over. It was great cooking for the first time. If you saw my other videos, you know that I had been planning a few side dishes. I hope some of you made some of those. That would be awesome if you had. I would love to hear about it. So I have these oiled, just a little bit of olive oil on them, and as soon as my toaster oven tells me it's ready, I'm going to go ahead and pop those in. In the meantime, I'm going to clean up this stuff. I should have had a garbage bowl here next to me. But I'm flying by the seat of my pants. All right. I got my compost bowl is what I have right there. Okay. So once those are pre-cooked for about 20 minutes, then I will stuff them with the stuffing and we'll go from there. So I've showed you the stock. I've showed you how I'm getting started with the stuffed peppers. Let me take more hot water, see if that helps my voice. And now, a little bit. I'm going to show you the turkey pasta that I make. It's basically, I take the turkey and an onion, celery, garlic, and carrots and make a pasta. Now this is, and I have gravy too left over. This is my favorite way to reuse gravy. You make like a stroganoff, I'll say a turkey stroganoff. That being said, the store today did not have the egg noodles that I wanted. I didn't have any on hand. And so usually I would make this with egg noodles. It's really delicious. You know, those thick, wide noodles that are a little bit richer than a regular, just plain Italian pasta. There is my peppers. So these are going in for 20 minutes, just to pre-cook, soften up a little bit. But what I did get for the turkey stroganoff is just a nice pasta that have been through a bronze die. And a die is basically the way that the pasta is cut, the way that it's extruded. So they have a rough texture, which means they'll hold on to the sauce a little bit more. So I sprung for the good stuff, $3 instead of 69 cents or whatever for the other pasta. But if you do have egg noodles, that would work really well with this. And I just make a bit of a veggie turkey sauce thing. And then you can use it in multiple ways. So I'm going to make a pasta, but if you wanted to, you can make a pasta and then bake the pasta, which I don't think I'm going to do. This is basically a pot pie filling as well. So if you wanted to make a pot pie, that would be delicious. If you had some extra puff pastry on hand in the freezer that you had, that would be amazing. You can make turkey hand pies if you wanted to do turkey like filling hand pies. There's so many options that you could do with this. I'm basically just going to make the stroganoff sauce using the gravy. If you had some leftover cream, you could add it to that too. I won't be adding cream because we don't do dairy as well, but the gravy is dairy. It's not dairy free, but it is cream free. We do use butter. So the gravy that I made, I've got a bit left over here. And besides smothering a turkey plate with it, this makes a great sauce. It's just turkey stock that I made and flour and butter. So it's really straightforward there. But let's get started with the veggies for the turkey stroganoff. So I don't know about you, but I have leftover veggies. Lots of them. I got my carrots. I have some celery here. I'm going to start with some onion. I'm just going to give it a nice... Ooh, that's kind of a funny spot on onion. Take that off of there. I mean, really use whatever you have here. This is to get rid of stuff in your fridge, possibly freeze it. And this sauce, this turkey stroganoff sauce, you could just freeze it for later too. If you like don't even want to think about or taste turkey Thanksgiving flavors for a long time, make this sauce. Don't put any pasta or anything in it, and just label it and put it in your freezer. And then later when you're ready again for the flavors, you can go back and revisit it again and make a pasta with it. I might do that. We'll see. But I think this is dinner tonight for me. So I just have my onions, and I didn't even dice them. I just cut them in kind of half moons, sliced them like this. And I have a couple of carrots that I've peeled. Just doing like a rough chop on those. And I'm going to get my pan going. so I can put the oil in there, saute everything. Probably a medium-high to a medium-high heat. And look, I had a couple of stalks of celery left. I'm also going to throw in this top. I have lots of tops. I got it at the farmer's market, the celery, and that they don't de-top it usually from the farmer's market, so you end up with lots of tops. I froze the rest of this tops to use for stock later, but I did pull out one to put in this, and I'm just going to cut it up like the rest of the celery, just rough chop it. It will be delicious in there. And I have some garlic that I will mince in a second too. So let me know in the comments here, you guys, if there's any specific ingredient I would love to hear that you're dealing with. You're like, what in the heck am I going to do with that? I want to know. I think my pan is hot. Let's go over here. I'm so shadowy. I need new lighting. All right, so I have my olive oil. I think this is actually empty. I might have to open the new one. Whew. Let's wait for that to drizzle. All right. I need a new olive oil. I bought one. I thought I was going to run out for Thanksgiving, and then I didn't. But I bought a new one in case. I was well prepared. A little bit more olive oil. It's maybe like 2-3 tablespoons, not that much. And then once that's warm, it looks warm already. I'm gonna go ahead and get my veggies going, like sweating down. Not too high the heat. Okay, so those veggies hit the pan for the turkey stroganoff. I'm going to add a little bit of salt. I always add some salt at the beginning to help the veggies break down, get that flavor going. Now I'm going to address the turkey. And I got some aromatics here too that I'm going to use. So I have my garlic, just a couple cloves of garlic. I don't need it super strong. Thing smells funny. I think my toaster oven is just burning off. So with the garlic, sometimes you might see a little like stem in the middle there. That tends to, it can make things bitter. See, I just picked that out. And it possibly lead to digestive issues. That's what some cultures, traditions say. I don't know if that's true or not. But if I often will take the time to pick out the little stem in the middle. This other one might not have one. Let's see. Oh no, it does. You can see that. There's a little stem in there. Just pick it out. It's basically the garlic plant starting to regrow, in other words, garlic. Or it's basically going to seed. So it starts to regrow. I'm just going to go ahead and mince that garlic. I'm using 2 cloves here because it's what I felt like feeling. Honestly, you could do more. You like things super garlicky. The other thing I have left over here is some fennel tops. I forget that I used fennel in, but oh no, I made a fennel salad that was really good. But I have tons of these fennel tops left over. So I'm going to go ahead and mince these two. So the fennel and the garlic will go in there together after those veggies have gotten softer. They don't need to cook for as long. But fennel is a really nice flavor with poultry. And I have a leftover, so yum. We'll add that in. And I will put it back in that bowl there. I need to mix my veggies. Hang on. I turned down my veggies. We're not looking for them to get brown. We're just looking for them to get soft. So I turned them down a little bit. You can tell, you can hear it's less vigorous. Less vigorous. Sizzling. So here's the amount of turkey I have left over. We did a pretty good job. It's not that much. We had 2 full containers like this, but I froze some of it. I used some of it in turkey soup already. I gave some to the cat, like ends and dregs that nobody wanted. He's been pretty happy with that. That's for sure. I'm just going to go ahead and dice this turkey. This is actually mostly white meat in the breast, so that's fine. The turkey turned out nice and moist this year, so I don't expect this to be particularly dry when I recook it. White meat isn't as forgiving when it comes to drying out, but I cooked it to the right temperature, so it worked out well. And that's all stuff that I teach inside my membership, the Vitality Kitchen Club. I have this Cooking for Vitality. It's basically basic cooking skills that will help you do things like perfectly cook your meat so it's not dried out. There's no secrets to it, there's just a couple things you gotta know. But that's inside my Vitality Kitchen Club, which I'm sure I will put a link for down below. So, I do have some dark meat in here too. I don't think I'm gonna add the skin. That might be a cat treat, we'll see about that. There's a little bit of dark meat here, which will be more flavorful and a little bit more forgiving in terms of drying out or not. But I do a pretty small dice here. You know what I'm gonna get going actually? I'm gonna get going the pasta for this. I cook the pasta separately because different people in my family like different amounts of pasta and things. So I like to cook the pasta separately and then people can sauce their own pasta. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn that back up. I have my oil already hot, my water already hot for that. Man, my peppers are popping. Ooh, baby. I'm making all kinds of sounds over there. Alright, I got my turkey pile. It's not a ton. Perfect amount. And that is all the turkey. You have witnessed me use all the turkey. That's amazing. Yeah, I didn't think we'd ever get through it, but we did. All right, here we are. I got my veggies going for my turkey stroganoff here. And I have my pasta boiling for my water. And I'm going to add plenty of salt to my pasta water so that there's flavor starting from the beginning so it's not bland pasta. And I'm trying to decide how much of this I'm using. It's a really good question. I think it's a pound. I use half of it because it's always easy to cook more pasta. And I think reheated pasta is not the best thing in the world. So we'll do like maybe a little more. There we go. Giving it a stir so it doesn't stick to the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and add my garlic and fennel to my veggies here. They're getting soft. They're not quite there yet, but this garlic and fennel can cook for a little bit. Maybe I'll set a timer on this pasta. 8 minutes? Does that sound good? I still have my gravy over here that will be added in after I add the turkey. This is literally how you make pot pie filling, you guys. They're usually cream-based. Like I said, if you have some extra cream left over, you could do that as well. I'm going to leave mine dairy-free. But you know what? If you want to freeze this at all, leave out the dairy. Because dairy gets a little bit weird when it's frozen, especially liquid dairy. So I would leave out the dairy if you're going to freeze it. Those are getting nice and soft. My pasta is sticking to the bottom. Almost good. Let's check on those peppers. I keep hearing them pop. And I want them to get soft, but I don't want them to get so soft that I can't put any stuffing in them. I'm gonna go ahead and check them. They smell pretty good. I don't know, I think they're just letting off some water. Hi there, up close and personal. They're just letting off a little bit of their liquid, but I think I'll give them the 6 minutes left in there. So what do you want to talk about? Comment down below, you guys. Let me know. Oh, and if you don't know what programs I have going on right now, so I help women over 40 make healthy cooking easier so that they can reach their health goals faster. And I think cooking is really the key to reaching your health goals. I came to that when I was a teenager. I was diagnosed with an autoimmune condition, and I started to cook some of my own meals that weren't processed. I was eating some processed foods at that point, and I really started to become more aware of what I was putting in my mouth. So I really do believe that cooking, that process of cooking, is the way to reach your health goals. So I make that easier. I have a membership called Vitality Kitchen Club, where it's a community where people come together to help make that process of healthy cooking and sticking with healthy cooking easier. I also have within that membership is a class that's basically the 6 foundational principles of healthy cooking. Everything from how to get the most flavor out of your food, the ingredients to stock, the essential kitchen tools that you need, all that kind of stuff. So that is what I have going on right now. If any of that sounds good to you, I want you to join us and get on track for your health goals for the new year. Because we all think we're going to do it in January, but if you sign up now, and then come January, you're like, yes, good job, I did it. So that is my spiel. Healthy cooking does not have to be just sometimes. It's really a way of life. It's a lifestyle for sure. So I think my veggies for this stroganoff are looking pretty good. Soft, but not completely soft. I like my veggies a little on the crunchier side. So I'm going to go ahead and throw in my turkey meat. And then also, I can go ahead and add the gravy now. See it all come together, hopefully. Let's see. It is pretty low, which is good. Oh, my stock is getting close too. All right. There. What I'll probably end up doing is adding a little bit of pasta water to this to help make a more cohesive sauce, actually. Because I could add water right now. It's pretty thick, and I could add water right now. But the best water to add in this situation, especially if I'm cooking the pasta, is pasta water. Because it's going to help it, the starch in that pasta water is going to help this sauce kind of stick to the noodles. So right now all I'm going to do is just taste it for salt. And it should be pretty good. I added salt to those veggies, and this turkey I know is already well salted. Oh yeah. I love pot pies, you guys. I love that flavor. That's the craving part. So good. So that does need to come up to temp. Let me scrape the bottom of this gravy jar. Check, gravy done. I love it. That's it. It feels so good to be emptying out this fridge, let me tell you right now. I'm just going to let it simmer for a little bit until that pasta water is done. Until that pasta is done in the pasta water. The peppers here are almost finished. I won't be able to show you the stock tonight. Obviously, I'm not going to hang out with you for 2 hours, sorry. But drop any questions that you may have about it down below. It's pretty straightforward. You always want to let it cool off before you freeze it. So I will strain the stock. I will put it in separate containers, refrigerate it overnight. Like glass jars are good. But I don't freeze the glass jars actually. So what do? I always refrigerate it. I smell these peppers. I always refrigerate it overnight before freezing it. You don't want to go straight from hot liquid into the freezer. You want to make sure it refrigerates overnight. So what I generally do, I don't like to store things in plastic. No, I don't like to put hot stuff in plastic. That's what it is, because it helps that plastic kind of get into your food, which you don't really want. But I will store plastic in the freezer. I know that's kind of funny. I've never had success with storing glass mason jars in the freezer. They always break on me. Even following all the precautions, they've always broken on me. So I do use plastic deli containers to store my broth in the freezer, but overnight I will store them in glass and then I'll pour them in to the plastic, if that makes sense. I can show you the containers in a minute. So these are my peppers. They're par cooked, we'll say. Partially cooked. And let me show you these containers. Hold on, let me get them for you. So I went to Smart and Final today and bought these. They're deli containers. They're inexpensive, and I will go through this. It'll take me at least a year to go through this. I haven't had to buy these for so many years, but finally we were out of all containers after Thanksgiving. There was so much leftover food. We gave so much away. So the only thing with these peppers is that I do need to let them cool a wee bit. But there we go. You know what I'm going to do? I will fill them with the stuffing. I will refrigerate them for a couple hours, and then before I go to bed, I'll just go ahead and toss them in the freezer like this, like just on a sheet pan, and then later when they're completely frozen, I'll pack them in a different container. My pasta is telling me it is just about done. Maybe. It's been 8 minutes. We'll see. Doesn't look very done to me. This is getting nice and thick. Let's taste this pasta. Oh yeah, there's so many. Like a couple minutes. It smells so good. I actually like Thanksgiving food a lot, you guys. I know some people really don't like it, but I really love it. It's nostalgic to me, as the kids say these days. Okay, here's my stuffing. Now, if you had a stuffing that wasn't meat-based, you might want to add some ground meat to it before you do this. These peppers stuffed with just mushy bread stuffing. I'm not sure how good they really be, honestly. Part of the reason I'm doing this is because this is really just a type of stuffing you might throw in anything. So I'm going to go ahead. These peppers are coolish. Just really start filling them up here. What was I gonna say? Oh, cheese. So when I bake these later, like after I take them out and want to have them for dinner, I will sprinkle them with cheese or something then. I won't freeze them with cheese on them. But I will. I'm not even sure if this is gonna use up all my stuffing. That's okay. If it doesn't, I'm gonna go ahead and probably just freeze the stuffing anyways. I'll figure it out for something else another time. But maybe I'll get most of them in here. We'll see. A little messy right now. We're getting there. A lot of this stuffing's kind of clumped up too. So it's made with like a stick of butter. So it's nice and solid because it's cold. I just pulled it out of the fridge. All right, that is my pasta. I will take a break on this. I need to come test this pasta. See if we're done. Oh yeah, it's looking much better. I gave it another 2 minutes. That's done. But don't forget, I need to get my pasta water. So I'm going to grab a coffee mug. And that is going to go in my sauce. I'm going to go ahead and drain my pasta. And I'm going to put it right back in there. Like I said. Excuse me. I'm talking too much. I need more hot water. Okay. So I have my plain pasta. I have my saucy sauce here. I'm going to put some of this pasta water in my sauce. Probably about half of what I took out. It's maybe half to 3/4 of a cup. And it looks a little bit soupy, but I am still simmering it. And once I put the pasta gets married with it on your plate, it's going to soak up this really nicely. So I'm just going to go ahead and leave that. That's my turkey stroganoff sauce, we'll call it. And it will get a little thicker, like I said. Yum. Yum, yum. I'll go back to finishing stuffing these peppers, and then I will plate up that pasta. So I'd love to hear if you broke from any Thanksgiving traditions. Do you have Thanksgiving traditions? I like Thanksgiving and all its stories. You know what? This is going to go really well. I had some nice big peppers here. So I had 3 large peppers. I probably had over 2 cups of stuffing left. So I don't know if you do the math. Is that a 1/3 a cup per thing? Per pepper half? I'm not sure. I just eyeballed all this. You can really shove it down in there too. Because then when these freeze, it will be nice and solid. Maybe a little bit. Alright, here we are. Those are nice and stuffed. And I mostly use my stuffing. I might just put that on my plate tonight and eat it with my turkey stroganoff. And there we go, you guys. This is going in the fridge. Actually, it can go in the freezer. I'll let it cool off a little bit because the stuffing is cold. The peppers are just a little hot, but this whole thing can be tossed in the freezer once it cools off a bit. And then let me plate up that pasta too. You can see how yummy it is. Here we go. I got my plate. A little bit of pasta. Everybody can, maybe a lot of pasta. That's up to you. If you have any leftover herbs too, like parsley or whatever, that can definitely be used. And I'm just going to go ahead and give myself some of this yumminess. I love it. It's so warm and comforting. These flavors. Here you go. It can kind of be like a soup, but oh, yum. Yep, that's exactly what I want it to taste like. My stock is just about to come up to boil. I will turn it down. I will skim off the icky stuff at the top. That will affect the flavor a little bit, so I'll keep skimming that off. I'll add the veggies probably in about a half hour or so, 45 minutes, and then strain it and freeze it. So thanks for joining me for this healthy Thanksgiving leftovers. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know your Thanksgiving stories, and I will see you guys in the next video.